And what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Celluloid Psychosis. I am your host, TJ Bowser, and joining me as always is the very handsome, the very British, the King of Salisbury himself, Mr. Paul Ashford. What's up, buddy?
Hey man, I am good as always. Good as always. Yeah, man, I've had a good week. Should we talk about our weeks?
Yeah, how was your week, buddy?
Um,
Tell me about it.
Damn, I haven't really thought about what I've done. What have I done in the last week? I have watched some good stuff on some movies, as
Mhm.
always. Been catching up with bits. Watched tonight's film twice
Mhm.
over the last few days. Man, I'm working hard as always. Obviously, work, work, work. Um,
How's the car?
Oh, the car is very good. I'm loving the EV life. Had a small problem with a little leak in the back if I use my rear washers, but that's going to get fixed under warranty. But other than that, man, it's been great. Yeah, I'm loving it. It feels very luxurious driving around in it at the
It
moment.
does,
It's
doesn't it?
pretty cool. Yeah, man. It's quiet. It's got all the gadgets and things, the screen and everything, man. It's comfortable, but it's still sporty and it looks nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
very happy with that, man. But yeah, man. Other than work, I've been I can't think. We've just been, yeah, watching movies, chilling.
Any new purchases?
No, I bought some wheel cap covers for my car,
Ah,
but no physical media purchases at all. I do intend on picking up the Friday the 13th, the two new Friday the 13th coming from Arrow. I know they're
yeah.
not out till May, but I will get those purely because I need them all in my collection because I no longer have the old Blu-ray box set. But yeah, man, yeah, not too much going in the past week. How about yourself?
Man, I've been flat out at work, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a lot of local political stuff recently. It's election time, so we're gearing up for that. I am doing some campaign advising for a local school board candidate. Really enjoying that, helping with a local judge campaign as well. Super excited to be dipping my toes into the political arena, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's new, and I love new stuff, and I love meeting new people, and it's really cool the people I get to meet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I bought Black Hawk Down in 4K UHD recently.
Mhm,
Excellent release. 7.1 Dolby
mhm.
Audio. You have that crisp ass 4K scan, and I 100% recommend that release to anybody. There's also an available steelbook that is out for around the same price.
Yep.
Similar art, but the Blu-ray art won out for me because the Blu-ray art is just the Black Hawk helicopter with the dudes rappelling down. It's just that simple.
Nice.
The other one kind of had the actors on the front, and I'm like, nah, dog, I'm good.
There's a new doc out, right, for Black Hawk Down? Am I?
Yes, there's a series on Netflix that kind of tells you both the special forces, the Rangers, and the Somalis' perspective of the situation from '93. It's very interesting. My wife
Mhm.
watched it and she really liked it, so that's kind of why I bought this movie, is because she was very interested in that incident in general. So that maybe make her more apt to watch a war movie with me. But
Mhm.
speaking of movies, let's talk about this week's movie, and it is Paul's pick. And this week's movie is Paul. What is it?
Burial Ground, aka The Knights of Terror from 1981. Although I
And that
believe it's
is
film.
directed by Andrea Bianchi, who also did Strip Nude for Your Killer, who I have the Arrow release from, and that movie is awesome.
Nice.
You can definitely see some of the similar sexual depravity in both films. Written by Piero Reganoli, starring Mariangela Giordana, Gior-
Giordana.
Giordana as Evelyn. She's also in The Sect, which I
Yeah.
absolutely love.
Yep. She's
Peter
in a load of stuff, but I put the set because it's Argento.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know that stuff. Peter Bark as Michael, Roberto Camparelli as George, Karen Well as Janet, Gianluigi Chirizzi, yeah,
Mhm.
as Mark, Simone Mattioli as James,
Dioli.
Claudio Zucchet as Nicholas, Anna Vellante as Catherine, Benito Barbari, yeah, as
Barbiera. I know.
don't listen to Paul, guys. Mary and Jelly. Oh, you put her in there twice. Antonella Antonori as Leslie. Paul, read that plot all sexy and slow like.
I'll try my best. Unholy evil is rising up in the Italian countryside when a professor discovers through ancient texts that a hidden crypt houses the secret to immortality. Upon entering the tombs, he unfortunately discovers that the key Etruscan ritual unleashes a horde of zombies who start to climb above ground when an aristocratic group of friends arrive at an adjoining villa for a weekend getaway. What follows is a bloody battle to the death between the undead and the horny house guests.
So, prior to this discussion, Paul had the nerve to tell me that I didn't understand Italian cinema.
Yeah, from your comments. I know.
Okay, all because I
I just
refer
wanted.
to this movie as, I quote, the slog fest. Okay, so I'm not going to say I hate this movie.
Mhm.
I'm just going to compare it to other zombie movies, which Paul claims I'm biased of, that it's not as good. Mainly, my big problem with is the fact that the zombies use weapons in the manner they do, and two, the masks look like absolute shit. Uh,
Well,
Other than that, the movie's cool. I
it's a
mean,
cool movie.
there's some weird incest stuff, but there's
Yeah, yeah,
boob biting,
yeah. Yeah,
and there's
the zombies use weapons.
yeah.
Romero ripped it off, obviously, for Land of the
He
Dead, right?
didn't rip it off.
He did.
And they used weapons, but not the same way Bob uses weapons. Bob shoots a gun after training. These fucking guys are throwing like railroad ties far distance into people's hands using tools to hack down fucking doors. You didn't
Yeah,
see Romero, Night of the Living Dead zombies fucking knocking down doors with a goddamn axe.
I
What the
think
fuck?
I think Romero ripped it off.
Romero didn't
Yeah,
rip
it's
shit off.
zombies using like
Romero is in the 60s. This is
the
81.
Land of the no, we're talking Land of the Dead. With Land of the Dead, that was intelligent zombies, right?
Oh,
For
don't
Romero.
start. Don't start. One could even say Intelligent Zombies and Dawn of the Dead because they caught on to some of this stuff after a while. Or
Yeah,
the people are.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I just like to.
anyhow, enough of that.
Anyway.
This film is very of the Italian genre. It is
Hmm.
of like, especially when it comes to zombie films. If you like Lucio Fulci's Zombie or any of those zombie films,
Yeah.
I compared it to Zombie 5 when Paul and I were talking about it
Hmm.
pre-show. Not subject matter wise, just the tone and the atmosphere and the feeling. No,
Yeah.
there's no killer birds in this movie, but there's this group of people goes out and these fucking zombies show up and wreak
Yeah.
havoc. Now,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
does have this Italian movie trope of these jet setters that show up at this old
Mansion.
castle, mansion,
Mansion.
whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, estate. There we go. There's the word.
Chateau. I don't
Chateau. Yeah.
know.
And then something crazy happens. And I love, like, at the beginning of the film, there's this discussion of like where the guy is who kind of like makes all this bad stuff happen is. And they
Yeah.
keep passing it off of like, oh, this guy's a scientist. He's just away all the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yet we get to stay in his fucking house. It's neat. And my biggest problem with the film is is in the 4K disc that you have. Is there an English dub?
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I've only watched the English dub.
Okay,
There is
because
Italian.
I had
There
to
is
watch the
subtitles as well.
Italian dub, and the entire movie's in Italian, except whenever they're screaming for Michael.
All right.
But that kind of like didn't allow me to resonate with the characters as much.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying I haven't watched an Italian movie in Italian before. It's just this film specifically, for some fucking reason, did not allow me to connect with the characters other than the mother and the son. I just felt like the other characters were just cannon fodder for the zombies.
Wow. You've misunderstood this film.
Change my mind, Polly.
Well, I've only watched the English dubbed version.
Okay.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. It's very
Yeah.
cheesy. Maybe is the word
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
It's just hilarious. It's just so funny. It's got some amazing
If there's a trope in Italian cinema,
dialogue.
it's here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you've probably missed out on the dialogue. Then I've highlighted some dialogue.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
missed out, and there's some Italian stuff, but like, yeah, tell me
yeah,
some of the
yeah.
stuff.
So the first scene with oh no, I forgot that. So it's a weird bunch of characters that arrive
Mhm.
at this house. So you've got the mum who is Evelyn. Michael is a very strange son,
Who
and
is
then
the
there's a
mom banging at the beginning?
yeah, that's her boyfriend. I presume that's her boyfriend. His name is George.
Okay.
So there's obviously a bit of a Michael doesn't like George, and George isn't particularly fond of Michael because
Oh,
Michael
because
likes to.
Michael has the Norman Bates thing of I want to fuck my mom.
Yeah.
And we just want to preface this. Michael looks like a little person version of Dario Argento. Like,
Hmm.
we're not even joking. And I
Yeah,
don't know if he's a child or if he's a little person. It's
no, he's
hard
a
to
little
tell.
person.
He is a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
person?
So he's playing a child, but he's
Okay.
actually a little person. So I read that the to get around the laws in Italy at the time, obviously because of what he does in the film is a bit sexual with the mother stuff.
Yes.
They couldn't have a child doing that,
Mhm.
so
Makes
they
sense.
got this adult who looks like a child,
He
essentially.
lacks innocence. That's
Yeah.
why I
Oh yeah.
question
So
the
his what do you call it? His name is Peter Bark, although
yes.
they actually that's not his real name. He's Italian. So his real name is something like Pietro Beccardiello or something like that. But
All of them
for some
change their
reason they
name for
shortened him to
movies,
Peter
yeah.
Bark for this film. Um, but I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was hilarious. So good. Um, but yeah, he plays a
He
super
goes
super
from,
creepy
like, this
kid.
cock-blocking little bastard to
Yeah,
this really creepy fucking asshole who then
yeah,
gets his comeuppance and then rocks up and does the whole, "Oh my god," the sympathetic mother bit that
yeah,
we
yeah.
see at the end of Night of the Living Dead, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. But yeah, it's a weird bunch of people. As I was saying, to go to the house. There's Michael, there's his mum Evelyn, is her boyfriend George, and then you've got like what was there, two, three other couples, like young couples.
Yeah, just
It's a bizarre group of
a
people.
weird group of jet-setting aristocrats
Yeah,
that just are here to fuck,
yeah,
and there's a
fuck
lot
and
of
die.
sex.
Yeah,
Uh, I
it's
wouldn't
not
say like grotesquely amount, like
no,
it's not like softcore porn or anything,
no,
but
it's not graphic. It's
it's
just
very on par for the genre and the time period.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's some amazing dialogue which you've probably missed in the
Yeah.
dubbing at least. So there's the couple right at the start of the film, before Michael catches his mum and
Yes,
boyfriend,
the old
there,
cock
there's the
blocking
other
scene.
couple having sex
Mom,
before that.
what are you doing? Is she topless whenever he comes in?
Yeah, she jumps out
Yes.
of bed naked, doesn't she, and then
Yeah.
wraps a towel or something around her. But right before that, there's a different couple having sex, and there's the young girl who's found like the old underwear in the house, and she's put it
Yeah.
on to her boyfriend.
Mhm.
Um, and there's an amazing bit of dialogue in the dubbing. He goes to her, "Oh, you look like just a little whore, but I like that in a girl." It's just so bizarre. um, and just there's just little funny jokes throughout. There's none of it of the same couple. When him and the girl go out into the garden in the country bit to like, and she's talking about jobs.
Uh-huh.
And she needs a new job or money, and he goes, "Well, you're getting a raise out of me, all right, but it has nothing to do with the money." It's just these cheesy like chat of line jokes, bizarre. But I guess you would have missed that in the Italian.
Yeah, it's not as
No.
yeah.
But yeah, this is a weird film. I mean, for me, it's
You know what this movie lacked? Slapping.
well, it's not a giallo, is it? I guess
No. So, but it has some giallo like tropes in
vibes,
there.
tropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing there is an attempted Fulci eye gouge scene, but
Oh, it's
he
hilarious.
kind of misses the whole fucking point and kind of gets the side of the face.
Yeah.
So the scene is shot very similar to the
Oh, it's
Fulci
a
eye
complete
scene.
and utter rip off, isn't it?
Yeah. And
There's
then
no question.
I know Phenomena came after this movie, but didn't the
Yeah.
beheading at the end in slow motion seem very similar
Yeah,
to
yeah. I
the end
mean,
of
this was
Phenomena?
filmed in '79 apparently,
Ah.
and was released in '81. Because on the disc, the '88 film still
What
says
year's
movie.
Phenomena? 83? 85?
Yeah, yeah, early. It's just before she did Labyrinth, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be. Yeah. Um, forgot what I was going to say now.
It's the best of the best when it comes to knockoff
Oh yeah,
Italian
complete
scenes.
rip off. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I know you don't like the look of the zombies because you think they're just masks.
They look like Fulci zombies.
Yeah, they are Fulci zombies. It's zombie flesh eaters or
But
zombies. It's Fulci zombies.
they
Even with
don't
the
feel as gross as Fulci zombies. See, there's
no,
a
the budget
distinct
obviously
feel
wasn't
with
there.
Romero zombies where they look like they're cold. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Fulci zombies look like they smell bad.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
these haven't got that feeling.
This has a different vibe. It's similar to Fulci zombies, but it's just different
Yeah,
vibe. And I
I
think
believe
the
it's also
blood being brown also affects it.
one of the special effects people on this was the same guy that worked on Zombie as well,
That
or
makes
one of the
sense.
people that
The
worked on Zombie,
visual,
which makes
yeah.
sense. But obviously, yeah, they didn't have the budget to make it as good as the zombie ones, but they've done a good attempt. You know, some of the zombies though are hilariously
Bad.
bad. Yeah, yeah. So there's some with like goofy teeth sticking out and like one wonky eyeball. It just looks like a
There is a lot
cartoon.
of variety, though.
Yeah, big variety. I mean, there's a lot of zombies in this, especially
Yeah.
towards the end.
Well,
There
yeah,
is a lot
especially
of
when we get the
zombies in this.
druid zombies with the hoods and
Yeah, the
shit.
monks. I mean, the monk zombies I think are
Yeah,
amazing. They were super creepy. It's
agreed.
pretty obvious when they escape the
That's
house.
what it should be the whole time is like these druid monk zombies
But
walking
again,
around.
that was a rip-off to me from of the Blind Dead. You ever seen any of the Blind Dead
Ah,
films?
yeah.
Looks exactly like them. So yeah, this film it's a complete rip-off of other stuff, but I just find it really really enjoyable. It's a there's virtually no plot. It's literally like you said, group of aristocrats turn up to a house, zombies appear, they all die.
Have them have sex, get killed
Yeah,
while
they have
having
sex, then
sex.
they die.
Yo, the
That's
fucking
literally.
like the animal trap scene where this lady is they're not even running from the zombies at first. They're just kind of like walking
Yeah,
and her leg gets stuck in a fucking like
yeah.
wolf trap, bear
Bear
trap of
trap,
some
whatever you
sort.
call it. Yeah, yeah.
And he finally gets the dude that she's screwing around with, gets her
Mm-hmm.
free. And then as soon as she gets free, the fucking zombies rock up.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole scene is just really strange.
Yes. So what's funny about that scene? I don't know if it was in the Italian version, but in the English dub, her screaming is very sexual.
Yes.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yours was asleep on the sofa. She woke up during that bit and looked at it, thinking I was watching like a soft porn or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it goes on for a long time as well. She's screaming all through that scene. It's quite tense because the zombies are there, aren't they? But they're
Yeah.
slowly shuffling along, and obviously the guy can't get the trap open. But then the other couple come along, George and Evelyn,
Mhm.
and they help him out and get her out of the trap, and then they manage to escape. And George, that's when they crush some zombie heads, and don't they? Like George gets a big rock, just starts crushing zombie heads. Those effects are pretty cool
Yeah.
when they're crushing the heads, and like it's like the
There's a
blood.
really cool close-up shot of the zombie heads getting crushed. That's really
Yeah,
well
yeah.
done.
It's almost like they're full of like weird colored paint
Mhm.
because it's like the creamy,
If you
bluey
can't make
red
it look
paint.
real, make it artistic as fuck, yo.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, you say the zombies look like they got masks on, but I think they look cool. Apart from the goofy ones, the main ones look pretty cool, and I like how they got maggots on them as well. Obviously, they've just
Yeah.
stuck some
In
maggots
some
on there
shots.
in some shots. Yeah, like the main zombie guy who's on the cover. He's really cool.
Mhm.
And they've even got the like the outfits on like they wear in Zombie Flesh Eaters, sort of like the robes, like the raggedy
Yeah.
robes. I guess they've probably done that for budget constraints, just so you don't have to do a full-on zombie makeup. But I love it. I love it. I like it. I love how they're shuffling zombies as well, and they come out of like the sort of the catacombs in the bottom of the mansion. Some come out of the grass. Again, a
This
complete.
place is huge. This estate is
Yeah,
just fucking massive, and it shows you like because at the end, like they're running away, but they're still within the bounds of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge house, huge grounds, and it's like, that's what I like about these sort of films. They're just very simple,
That
entertaining.
it definitely at this era of filming, they definitely made use of these settings and these sets. Uh,
Yeah,
they this castle must have been palatial as fuck,
yeah, yeah. It's
and
beautiful.
they
And all
make
the
use of
paintings inside.
every single bit of it because it just
Hmm.
every shot is just a new part of the castle.
Yeah, and it's like beautiful painted walls and ceilings, isn't it? All like
Uh-huh.
all the different paintings on there. It looks incredible. Um, but yeah, it's such a fun movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's what, hour and a half, if that.
Hour 20.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Boy, would it be nice to have movies that length again.
yeah, yeah. Not it's only really there's not many movies this sort of length anymore, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I know you don't like it particularly, but I really enjoy this film. As long as you know what you're in for.
Yeah.
So it's not a zombie classic, but it uh, does enough bits different, I would say.
It's
So yeah,
gory as fuck.
it's gory as fuck.
There's
It
some
rips
really
off.
cool latex pulls where they're
Yeah,
eating flesh.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole incesty stuff, which
That's par
is
for the course for Italian cinema,
yeah,
yo.
but I don't remember seeing that sort of stuff in any other zombie film. So
Mhm.
yeah, what we're talking about, we've got Michael, who is the creepy kid, played by an adult. It's like a dwarf actor.
Yeah.
Obviously, is very attached to his mum. Like you said, he breaks in on his mum having sex, just turns up. She jumps out of bed. He sees her completely naked. I don't know why she jumped out of bed. To be fair, because she wasn't doing anything. She was just led in bed. Um, he says some really weird stuff to her, doesn't he? And it's after they first escape the zombies that Michael tries it on with her. He's like, "Oh, mama." Oh, I don't know. It was probably in Italian for you, but he's like, "Oh, mama, oh, mama," and like he just tells her that he used to enjoy, suckling on her breast when he was a kid, and then he just starts pulling at her dress, even lifts her skirt up, and it's like, ugh. But she stops. Her face
Yeah,
suddenly goes
she
dead,
has some
and
semblance of
her face goes
reason.
like vroom like that, and he's like, "No, stop." And he goes, "But why, mother? I'm your son." And then he runs off in a strop, and she's like, "Michael, Michael," and that's that. So it's
Yo, if what happens to Michael,
yeah. So
he
Michael
gets
runs
his
off in a strop, and it's
yeah.
another hilarious scene. Just before this happens,
So
one of the other girls.
who's the girl that's turned? That
Yeah, that's the. I forgot what's the name. Where's the cast list?
is
I
it
think it
Janet?
was Leslie.
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 So
That's right. Because
Leslie is shown earlier in the film getting fucked up by a zombie, and
yeah,
Leslie's the first to and quote turn.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she turns into a zombie. And Michael comes across her, and Michael, being Michael, the weird guy, he's just looking at her. He's just stood there with
It's
his like,
shot really funny.
yeah, he's got his little tight jeans on, with his little white belt, this little tight top, and he's just stood there with his arms. He's like, Leslie, Leslie. He's like, Leslie, are you okay? Like, Leslie, you look ill. Are you hurt? And she just approaches him as a zombie, and then
Yeah.
it cuts. Suddenly, you don't see anything else. And then later on in the film, uh, he just no, he's that's right. She rips his arm off, doesn't she?
Yeah, because his
Yeah,
mom
no,
finds
she
him with his
literally
arm ripped off,
attacks him and
and
then rips
there's a
his arm
zombie
off.
in there eating on his arm.
Yeah, that's right. And then this is when we first see his mum, Evelyn, go badass because she comes across them, don't they, when they're trying to escape the mansion?
Mhm.
Obviously, the zombie Leslie is just there munching on Michael's arm.
They do a
Michael's
lot of
dead.
running away from the zombies instead of fighting the zombies until there's this one scene where he's like, "Shoot him in the head. That'll kill
Yeah,
him."
yeah, yeah, yeah. But this scene when Evelyn comes across him, she goes back crazy because Michael's dead, or she
Yes.
thinks Michael's dead, and she just gets Leslie Zombie's head and just bashes it into the side of the bath. Just keeps bashing it, and this is when you see like all the blue and red blood and guts coming out of the back of her head, of the zombie's head, and that's the first moment you see she goes crazy and she
Yeah.
can fight for herself. But after that, she's kind of traumatized for
Yes.
the rest of the film. Um, but yeah, that's a pretty powerful scene. And then obviously it's what happens at the end or towards the end with Evelyn and Michael is hilarious, but
But
also
essentially, all these
disturbing.
characters that we see are put into this situation.
Hmm.
Zombies start coming up through the ground. They're banging or have banged,
Yeah,
and they're getting chased through these zombies. They're get by these zombies through
yeah,
this villa, and they're getting picked off one by one. And by the time we're done, we're down to like three people.
hmm,
Uh, and that is the mother, the boyfriend,
one of the boyfriends. Yeah,
one of the boyfriends,
yeah.
and then another female,
Janet, the blonde, isn't it?
Janet.
Yeah,
Yes. And then there's
yeah,
this chase sequence that ensues. They're outside, then they're back indoors, and they're outside
hmm.
again. And then so let's preface the third act. They're outside, they're running around, and then they're back indoors in this area. Now, this area has like a well in it from what I've seen,
Yeah.
some like cement steps and a door. And when they walk up to the top of these steps and open the door, there's zombie Michael with one arm and Evelyn is like, "Oh my god, my son!" You know, like I
Yeah,
said earlier, the Night
Michael.
of the Living Dead scene redone. Uh,
Michael, yeah. Yeah,
she's all sympathetic. Oh, my boy's
yeah,
alive again.
yeah,
So she's like, "Come here, Michael," and then
yeah,
everybody
she
knows
hugged
what's
him.
gonna happen. So, but of course, it's just not. He bites her.
Yeah,
He's got to pull away her blouse. Her breast's got to fall out. He's got to
yeah,
suckle a little bit,
yeah,
then
she's
takes
so
him home.
forgiving. She's
Yeah.
so forgiving. She's like, "Yes, Michael, you can suckle my breast." She
Now,
actually says
now
that
the
in the
incest
stuff.
is okay, Michael.
Yeah, but they're doing it in front of the other couple, which
Hmm.
is hilarious. Now they cats the other
And
couple and
it's
their
funny because
faces.
there's a scene. They cut back to the couple while
Yeah.
this is going on, and they're like,
Yeah, yeah. They're just like, "Oh, what?" She's like, "There, of course, Michael. There you go,
"Yeah."
Michael." And he's like pulling her dress apart and he starts sucking on her boob. Obviously, we know he's a zombie. The couple know he's a zombie. His mum doesn't, and the next thing you just hear like a, and
And
then
there's blood everywhere, and
yeah, and
it's
there's like half a breast coming off in Michael's mouth and blood, and, and you're just like, wow, okay. And it's probably the best scene in the film. I'd say
Yes.
the
So
funniest scene
once
in the
that
film.
happens, she backs up. She's bleeding out. The other
Yeah.
two start backing down the steps. But as they're doing that, we get introduced to these monk druid zombies with hooded shit going on.
Well, yeah, they
And-
escape, don't they? Those two escape, and they're out in the countryside,
No,
and they're
it's still all within that same area
no, because they
because
see the
there's a
monastery, don't they?
saw in there.
No, that's the other room. You're getting the rooms mixed up.
Oh, is there another room after
So
that?
they escape the
Yeah, the
monastery.
two do. Yes.
Yeah, because they're looking through the trees and they see like a monk or the back of a monk walk away. And they go, "Oh, it's a monk. It must be a monastery."
Yeah.
And they run up to this building, like the door, and they're like knocking on the door or ringing the doorbell, whatever it is. And nothing happens. And the door just opens. They're like, "Oh, let's go in." And you know damn well they're going to be zombies in there. And they eventually go downstairs into this one room, and all these. It's a pretty cool scene, to be fair. There's a big table. There's all these monks sat around the table, all hooded, and then suddenly they realize that one of them looks up and it's a zombie. Then you look and
Yeah.
they're all zombies, and then yeah, chaos ensues. Um,
There's like this really cool scene with like circular saw and a zombie pushing a dude's head forward. There's like this really cool disemboweling scene with
yeah,
intestines and then them being pulled out.
yeah, there.
I don't think we ever get the circular saw scene though. Like
You do
in
right at
this
the
movie.
end. You do
Oh,
right at the
right at the
very
end.
end. Right at the very end. But that's when they escape the monastery and they find this other building. It's just some random workshop, isn't it? Like you said, it's got a saw.
Mhm.
It's got all these tools. I did read actually that workshop was used in an Argento film, and I forgot which one it was.
It's not deep red whenever it's that weird dude that eats cats, is it?
I can't remember.
Where's that bird with the crystal plumage?
It was an Argento film. Might have been Demons. Might have been Demons. Anyway, that it's used in several films apparently. That building, but it
Demons
wasn't.
2
Yeah.
starts with a construction scene.
Hmm. I can't
Who
remember. I
knows?
read it. I should have put it in the notes. But yeah, this is when the zombies are intelligent and they can suddenly use power tools.
Power tools. Dale, no power tools.
Also, they can use a battering ram as well because they battering ram down the
Yes.
door, didn't they, to get in?
There's like
Um,
6 zombies with a fucking battering ram.
yeah,
And then there's zombies with axes. There's zombies with like like uh picks for like digging up shit.
yeah, yeah.
There's zombies with like throwing darts.
Hmm.
Uh what else do we got? Zombies with weird fucking eyes.
We haven't mentioned one of my favorite kills in the film is the maid when she's looking out the window and then she
Ah,
screams. That's right. And she screams, and then there's a group of zombies on the floor looking up, and one of them's got this giant scave, almost like like the Grim Reaper would have.
yeah.
And he just like holds it up and puts it around her head, and then like super slow just cuts her head off. Do you remember that? And then her head just drops down into all the zombies at the bottom, and then her body just stays there with no head. And then
Yep.
later on, I think is it George
Yeah, finds her
finds
and they're
her.
like, "Hey."
Hey, what
Yeah.
you doing? Hey, you okay? And he looks at her and obviously notices her head is missing, and he's like,
No,
"Ah."
bueno, senor.
And he does what anyone would do and just picks up her legs and then pushes her body out the window, and then she like her body dangles, and then you see the scene of her legs dangling, long legs dangling, and the zombies just like grabbing at her legs and then
Yeah.
pull her down, and then obviously they all eat her. And I'm surprised you haven't mentioned. I think it was George, the death of George, when he's grabbed by the zombies, and you get the Dawn of the Dead gut intestines ripping scene.
Mm.
You know, when he's laid out and there's all these zombies grabbing him, and then suddenly his chest is burst open, and you've got all the guts coming out. Um, interestingly was that. I always thought Dawn of the Dead was the first ever movie to do that,
I can't even. Who knows?
but I don't think it is, because I've seen that scene in Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, which I think was 74. So maybe there's another Romero rip off there. I don't know. He ripped that off as well. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's for another episode, I guess.
That is.
But yeah, man, this film has got really good gore.
Yeah.
It's got some nudity, some sex. It's got the weird incest stuff. It's got mostly cool looking zombies, but the budget is evident in some scenes.
Music's really cool.
Oh, the music's cool. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. There's it's sort of jazz, sort of funky. There's a bit of sort
Synth
of
stuff,
synthy stuff in
very
there. Yeah, it's
late
like a
70s
mixture.
stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, the location is amazing.
Mhm.
Really, real cool mansion. Like the countryside location looks incredible. It looks really nice as well, especially the 4K disc. It
There's
pops.
a
The colors are
Severn
nice.
disc, and then there's what else?
88 films.
Okay, 88.
It does look like the Severin one has more extras than the 88 films
There
one,
you
though.
go. Just
But
another reason to buy Region A.
nah, well, it's 4K as well. So yeah, the problem is,
Region
I guess
Free.
they'd have the movies on 4K, but the extras are on the Blu-ray.
There you go,
He's like,
Paul.
I'll stick with 88 films. I mean, there's some good extras on the 88 films, but
I'm sure.
it looked like there was extra stuff on the Severin one when I was looking online.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also both releases they've got this beautiful 4K restoration, well, as beautiful as it can be.
Yes, the
But they've also
preferred
got
way to watch the film.
there's also a 35mm version,
Yeah.
which is the real dirty,
The
gritty,
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse edition they've called it, and that different vibe, but it still looks good, and it's kind of
There's
like you said.
there's a zombie movie I like called Toxic Zombies. That's
Oh yeah,
similar like that.
yeah.
Massacre Video did a Blu-ray of it, but they decided not to clean it up at all, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that because of the way the movie looks.
Yeah.
The
So
movie itself is really gross, so that kind of presentation makes sense.
it's a cool extra to put on there.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. It's not you don't see many films doing that now with two different versions, like like an unrestored version or 35mm
Fucking
version
upload
plus
it.
the beautiful 4K.
Everything's about cleaning things up now, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this is a nice 4K, but it's
And
still good.
that's fine, and having that option is there. But in
Yeah.
films like this, true grindhouse, genre films, one would say,
Yeah.
that these films would benefit from that. Another good film that would that benefits from like that sort of grindhouse presentation would be the film Razorback from Australia.
Oh yeah.
It's essentially a Jaws ripoff,
Is that on
but
a
it has
4K
so
yet?
yes, it has. I believe
Hmm.
Umbrella Entertainment did a 4K of that.
Did they? I think I got the
Yeah.
Umbrella Blu-ray, or I did have.
I have the Umbrella Blu-ray right
Yeah.
here.
Again, what region is that?
All region.
Oh, is it? I think you can say B.
All Umbrella discs are all region.
Really? Yeah, because Australia's B normally, isn't it?
I have my Night of the Living Dead 1990 remake from Umbrella as well.
Oh, really? I've got a German one.
There's no good American company that's released a proper disc of that.
I actually watched that the other night.
It's so good.
Yeah. Oh,
Tony Todd's so underrated. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Tony Todd and this." No, Tony Todd playing Ben is fucking incredible. Like, he's the only person that comes close to Ben's. Like, I always say how good Ben is in Night of the Living Dead because like that role is like incredible. But then Tony Todd like just shows like, you know what? I'm not gonna do exactly what that guy did, but what's his name? Dwayne Jones? Is that the original Ben? Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah. I'm not going to do what the original did. I'm just going to do my own variant and then turn it up a notch. And I love it. I love the 1990 version. I wish we could get the X-rated cut with all the gore and stuff that Tom Savini originally envisioned, but I don't think we're ever going to get that.
Nah.
I'll take the Umbrella cut. The Umbrella disc is for the meantime. It's good shit. I love that.
I've got the Nameless disc. I think it's Nameless.
Yeah, Nameless.
Padded media book. You cannot beat a padded media book.
Them Germans know how to release media, pal.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, back to this movie.
Yes.
Still zombies. Man, I love it. I'm sorry, but I love
Mhm.
it, TJ. I love
I
this film.
understand, man. I understand. It's just whenever I go to zombie movies, I'm in a little bit higher regard. And like Paul said, I'm a little biased when it comes to things
Just throwing
because I
shade at
grew
me.
up and was raised in Romero land.
Hmm.
So
Still live there
everything
now.
there's the basis and everything else is underneath of it. Uh this film is cool for what it is. It
Yeah.
is a knockoff of a knockoff. And when I say that is
Yes.
essentially the Fulci and the Italian zombie films are knockoffs of American cinema, the genre that George Romero
Hmm.
started. So
Yeah.
things are always going to be watered down versions of something that's already existed.
Yeah.
If you're going to rate this film within the context of that, or judge this film within the context of understanding of what this film is, uh, it's not bad. It's not Zombie 4, you know, it's not awful. It's not I do call it a slog fest just because
No, that's the wrong. That's wrong.
it's a
It's
lot of
not
the
boring
same
though.
shit. If you've
Make it
watched
sound
one, you've
boring.
watched them all type feeling. Uh,
No.
I don't know.
No. 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 It's
Paul
definitely not boring. It's
Paul,
definitely not
this
boring.
film's different for you. You have nostalgia when this film comes out.
Yeah. I think I first saw it in the days of
Is this a
DVD.
nasty?
Quite possibly, actually. I don't
Okay.
know off the top of my head. It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair, if it was.
The time the 81 just makes me feel like maybe this is a video nasty and this is something that you're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, baby."
I mean, I used to read about it in magazines because
Yeah.
anything zombie I would read about, you know. But I don't think I ever saw it until the sort of DVD
You know,
days.
and that would be a fun topic in and of itself for an episode is kind of trying to understand how the video nasties thing that
Oh
happened
yeah,
over to you
yeah.
impacted the view of certain films.
Oh
Because
yeah. Easy.
I feel like some British folk view video nasty films or have video nasty films at a higher regard
Oh, huge.
because they weren't as accessible as other films during
Yeah.
for such
Oh,
a
they were
long period
banned.
of time.
So
Yeah.
they were banned, and suddenly you'd want to see them. It's like, why is this film banned? I must see it. You'd go out of your way to try and find it. I remember the first time I ever saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Obviously, that is an amazing film anyway.
Mhm.
But I had to go to a video market in my local town, and the guy there had a video store, and I was looking at the horror section, and he was like, "Oh, do you like horror films?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, I love horror films." He's like, "Oh, I've got a special section out here if you want to have a look." I was like, "Okay," and he took me to the back of his van. He had this cargo bag thing, like a sports bag, and he just unzipped it. And he had all these video nasties, like pirated video nasties. I was like, I was in heaven. I picked up Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Island of Death,
Okay.
and what's that other one? I forgot what it's called now. The one where I can't remember. It's another video nasty, like an obscure one,
Mhm.
and I remember that the quality was terrible. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was amazing. I loved two more at the time, and then the other two films are like, well, what am I watching?
Mhm.
So yeah, but just to see those films, like, oh wow, this is crazy, you know.
Watching TCM2 right after TCM1 without any context or understanding Toby Hooper, you're like, "What the
Hmm.
fuck?" Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's a weird. The whole video nasty thing is weird, and it was weird in the UK. A weird time,
agreed.
and yeah.
Future topic, folks. Future
Hmm.
topic for a different time. So, Paul, how would you rate Burial Ground: Nights of Terror?
Well, as pure entertainment,
Yes.
if you're a horror fan of any shape or form, 4 out of 5.
Okay. So,
Like you said, it's not. Don't compare it.
it's not breaking down barriers.
You can't go in thinking it's a Dawn of the Dead or a zombie flesh eaters classic, but it is ripping those off, and
There's not a
it's
single original idea
throwing
in
in
this
sex
thing.
and nudity and some real cheesy acting, real cheesy dialogue.
Yeah.
But it's for me, it's just such an easy film to watch.
Yeah.
Group of friends going away for a weekend in a lovely mansion. Zombies attack, blood, guts, sex, all that stuff. Easy peasy. It's out less than an hour and a half.
Mhm.
What more do you want? And it
I'm
looks
gonna
great on the 4K. It looks great on the 4K.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Not absolutely murder the film. But
Yeah, I'll take that.
if you
That's
like the
fine.
genre and you like Italian films, go for it.
Hmm.
Give it a watch. Give it a buy. If you
Yeah,
collect this stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's got two really solid releases now from
Hmm.
Severin, and if you're in the UK, 88 films, two amazing. I mean, Arrow released it on. I used to have the Arrow Blu-ray. They
Hmm.
released it on Blu-ray quite a few years ago. That was a really good release as well. But now, unbelievably, it's in 4K on both sides of the pond.
We live in a very interesting and unique time to be
Hmm.
purview to these 4K releases of films that were
Yeah.
essentially forgotten about and lost to time. Because
Hmm.
who gives a shit about this film? You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah.
I like it. I like being able to be in the land of discovery in physical
Hmm.
media and give a reason to the show and give a purpose behind the show and kind of broaden
Absolutely.
our horizons through every new discovery. It's cool and it's why we do this shit.
Yeah.
But thank God for physical media and long live physical media. Paul, that's been another great episode of Celluloid Psychosis. Thank you for
Definitely.
joining me, brother. And for all of you listening, if you enjoyed this episode and want to listen to other ones, just like it, head on over to www.projectlouder.net or anywhere else you consume audio only content, whether that be Google Play, Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. We're all there, plus some. I'm your host, TJ Bowser. That is Paul Ashford.
Hmm.
It may be daylight savings time, but we